You should come down here to Stanton on Father's Day Sunday. I've got a couple of gentlemen with me. Use that term rather loosely. Chuck Rademacher is one of the folks who's with me today. He's from the Lions. He's the co-chair of this event. Chuck, how long have you been the co-chair? It's 27 years in existence. I know that.
Well, I haven't been co-chair that long. I don't know, 6 or 8 years, maybe something like that. But it's interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, appreciate your. Who came up? Do you know how this came up? I mean, idea-wise.
This is the 27th fly-in breakfast here, and as I recall, this was started as a recognition for Malcolm Manuels. Manuels owned the airport at that time, and he retired. And it seems like this was evolved because of him, to have a recognition of him. And consequently, we just kind of kept on going after that. So that's the beginning of it.
Did you have a Father's Day event before this?
No, we did not.
Well, this has been a terrific fundraiser for your group, hasn't
it? It has. It's been really good. And not only fundraising, it's visible. A lot of people get to see you, and I'm sure it's fair to say it's good for the airport too. They get some visibility out of it.
Well, of course. John Lee is with us. John is from the airport here, the Stanton Airfield, one of, what were you saying, 60 owners of the airfield? That's pretty cool.
That's correct, yes.
60 owners of the airfield. And when they approached you, have you been the owner 27 years?
No, we've been the owner since 1990.
Okay. John Lee is his name, not the country music singer.
You don't want to hear me sing.
No. Well, I don't know if I don't want to hear you sing. I just know that you're not the country music singer. So obviously you enjoy airplanes, or you wouldn't be involved in this.
I do.
And I don't know too many people that really don't marvel at aircraft and what they can do.
I've been in the aviation business since 1960, and I flew for the Navy and for Northwest Airlines. So and then, of course, I built an airplane in my garage, and I keep it out here at Stanton.
Oh, what kind of plane is it?
It's called an RV-6A. It's a kit airplane. It represents 6 years of my life putting this thing together.
Do you fly with it much?
I have 1,000 hours on it, so I've every year for the last 15 years I've flown it to Arizona and back.
Oh, cool. Outstanding. And, of course, you'll see some ultralights out here. I think almost every kind of aircraft imaginable in terms of small aircraft will be out here at the Stanton Airfield because you can't land a jet here.
No, but there'll be antique airplanes like a Stearman, which is a little bit bigger than the average.
Yes, it is. But I've really enjoyed coming out here the last few years because you get to see a lot of different aircraft. I take a lot of pictures. And they got like I said, the ultralights are housed here, and you get a chance to see some of that. And we'll find out more about what's happening on Sunday, Father's Day. Take dear old dad or granddad down here to the 27th annual Father's Day breakfast. The food is delicious. We'll talk about that. And then with us, Chuck Rademacher. He's the co-chair of the Stanton Father's Day 27th annual walk-in, fly-in, drive-in breakfast. Going to talk about the menu here in a moment. Chuck, the co-chair of this event for a number of years, and of course also in charge of the fly-in here for the airport perspective is John Lee, one of the co-owners of the Stanton Airfield, one of 60 people who own this beautiful field here in Stanton. So Chuck, we're going to talk a little bit about the Lions Club's formation and its history.
Okay. The International Association of Lions Club is today the largest service organization in the world, with over 1.4 million members in more than 43,000 clubs, covering 182 countries and geographic areas. This was started, the Lions took up site conservation as a major goal after a speech by Helen Keller at the Lions International Convention in 1925. At that time, Helen Keller challenged the Lions to become Knights of the Blind, a challenge that has become a rallying cry for Lions projects around the world. But the site has been the big thing with the Lions, although they're involved in hearing, and there's actually the Lions Children's Hearing Center, University of Minnesota, and there's the hearing center. I don't know if it's as big as the sight center up there, but cochlear implants were part of it.
In fact, those were started there, right?
Yes, right.
Thanks to the Lions. Yep.
Thanks. Yep, that's correct. Yep. So the International Association of Lions Club is involved in lots of things. The motto is "We serve," and where there's a need, there we are. They're well known in the business of disaster. If there's a disaster going on, Lions clubs are usually there to pitch in, and the money from Lions clubs goes there. It does not go to advertising or so. Whenever the Lions raise money for a certain thing, that's the way it goes. Clubs are run on dues, not on contributions. The contributions are to be used for whatever. So it's kind of a unique organization, I guess you'd say, and it's really worthwhile.
How long have you been a Lion?
Since let's see, about 1986, I think it was. Yeah. So, I've been there for quite a while.
Yes, you have.
Cannon Falls Lions Club has about 40 plus. We run 40 plus members, basically, and we meet the second Tuesday of the month at the Cannon Falls VFW Club. Of course, we're always looking for new members, and visitors are welcome to stop in and visit us. We'd be happy to see you. And
how many members do you have?
About 40. Yeah, it kind of varies, comes and goes. Sometimes people find other things they want to do, which is okay too. But it hangs around that 40 number.
Okay. Is John a Lion?
No, he's not. No.
There's a guy you can court here today.
Right? Yeah, we got to work at it, huh?
Yeah. You should have seen the look I got from John when I said that. Where are we sitting, by the way? We're in some kind of a, what is this, a war room or something?
This is This is our briefing room. It was added on after we bought the place.
Okay. We got a grease board in here that's got all kinds of neat little signs on it.
Yes, well, you can see that they've discussed how they're going to park the airplanes on Father's Day.
Oh, okay, that's what that is. All right.
That's what we
There's going to be a lot of them here. I don't remember how many were here the last couple of years, but it was packed.
Yes, we usually run about 100 to 120 airplanes. And
you probably can't fit a whole lot more than that here, right?
Well, yeah, we'll find space. But
now, these are small. I mean, some of them are about the size of a bicycle.
Yes. It is 99.9% dependent on weather. If we have a nice day, we have lots of airplanes.
That's true.
If it's raining out, well, we don't get many.
Because virtually all these are not instrument flying, right?
Well, the airplanes may be instrument equipped, but the airfield is not. And you have to have a 1,000-foot ceiling and 3 miles visibility
in order to land here.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Got a little kitchen in the briefing room here.
Well, yeah, this is where we eat lunch and talk to people on the radio.
John, if I could get you to just
okay,
there you go. That'd be nice. What I wanted to touch on is we were chatting off the air about you've had a couple of presidents here within the last 15, 20 years.
Yes, we had President Clinton land here, and Obama.
Yeah,
President
Clinton, of course, delivered a commencement address at Carlton.
Carlton, yes.
And he landed here.
Yeah, they landed at the International Airport, then they take the helicopter down here. Yep. and they put big dents in that runway with their those helicopters are bigger than you think they are.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good sized helicopter.
Yeah.
So did you get a chance to shake his hand or talk to him or anything?
I didn't, but several of the people working here did. They, being politicians, they're very personable people, and
You almost have to be.
yeah. The story is that the people of Stanton lined up when President Clinton's motorcade went by, and he stopped and he shook everybody's hand. And there was a little boy who was the number one in line. He shook his hand, and then he ran down behind the line, and he got to be in the last. And President Clinton remembered him. So I guess that's a real politician to remember.
Oh my, well yeah. There was a state senator, a U.S. senator from Nebraska by the name of Virginia Smith. She was 80 years old when I was working in North Platte, Nebraska. She could remember everybody's name in the audience, and she'd call them by name during a speech. Yeah, Chuck Rademacher, isn't that true? Or yeah, and of course you feel kind of honored that a U.S. senator remembers your name, right? Yeah. She was so good at that. I always wondered how she did that, especially at 80. I mean, I'm not even 60, and I can't remember names.
Yeah, what a gift, yeah.
Yeah, it was truly a terrific gift.
Yeah.
So you got any stories about Obama when he came here?
No, I was pretty cut and dry. The thing that impressed me is the communications. They must have had 40 telephones set up here, and they came in days ahead. And then they actually interviewed neighbors, went out and talked to them, and made sure they weren't terrorists or anything like that.
Right, or going to invite some stranger into their house. Or,
right.
Yeah. Well, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, that's it. But and it wasn't well advertised. In other words, I don't think people knew that he was going to come here. So,
no. But they knew something was up, and they saw that big helicopter, that presidential seal on it, landing at Stanton Airfield.
Yeah.
And they did know he was going to be in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
He was over in Cannon Falls.
He was in Cannon Falls, yeah.
And then he stopped for pie and Zabrota, right?
That's correct.
If I remember right? President Obama. But the big question, and I don't know if you were, well, you might have been around then, Chuck, Dwight D. Eisenhower spoke at Carleton College back in the day.
I think it was before my time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't remember that. No.
You don't? They tell me it was the biggest crowd they ever had at Carleton Stadium.
Oh.
It was packed.
That would have been in the 50s.
And the Faribault, that was late 50s. Faribault High School Band. I don't know why the Northfield Band didn't play, but the Faribault High School Band, I was told by a band member, was invited to come out and play for President Eisenhower over at Carleton. I don't know if Northfield wasn't available or what, but Faribault played there at the stadium, and it was jam-packed.
Well, I'm sure it was, yeah.
Is what I was told.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the Stanton Fly-In Breakfast 27th Annual. Chuck, you want to go down the menu for us? Because every time I say the menu, I salivate, and we don't want that on the table here.
Yes, we have pancakes, sausage, scrambled eggs, coffee, milk, juice, and sausage comes from Greg's Meats.
It's good. It's delicious. It's fantastic.
And it seems to be a hit. We've used that for maybe all the time. I don't recall exactly, but probably we used it for the whole time. And we're serving in the hangar, and we'll probably have a good weather day, 900 to 1,000 people will feed between 7 a.m. and 12 noon.
And you guys get the lines through pretty quick.
It goes pretty good. There gets to be a little standing maybe, but we run the line back through the hangar so everybody's not standing out in the sun for the.
Oh, a couple of years ago, that was very beneficial.
Yeah, it helped, didn't it? And Stanton United Methodist Church has a worship service in one of the hangars that is away from the breakfast a little bit there.
Yep, I've gone there the last couple of years. It is an awesome service.
That's at 10 a.m. And they have 2 copper coins sing there, which you may or may not know, but that's a couple of local people.
Excellent group.
And they're very good. And Gordy's even given me, he's listened to them. He's been at the service.
Well,
So it's there again, everybody is welcome.
I don't know if a Gordy endorsement is a kiss of death or not, but they do get my endorsement. And they're back, so they're obviously not gone.
Yeah, they get a good bunch here, yeah. And it's $9 for the breakfast for adults. Ages 5 to 12 are $5, and under 5 are free. And it's all the pancakes you can eat. And you'll, if you're anywhere near local, you're going to see somebody here that you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, when there's that many people around, there'll be somebody here that you know. So the main thing, we're looking for good weather, and it sounds like it's going to be pretty decent.
Delicious. I mean, the food is awesome. You guys do a great job. You know, cooking for a lot of people is not easy.
Well, it isn't, no. But you kind of get a handle on it, you know, and kind of improves year after year, I guess.
Yeah, so how many, you got a big griddle for the
we have
pancakes.
3 griddles going, yep. And, you know, it's a good, once you get to the pancakes, you move right through the line in a hurry.
Well, and you want the pancakes to be fresh. You don't want to, you know, I'm sure you have them in warmers, but for the most part, you get them off the griddle.
Try to feed them right off the griddle if at all possible.
Correct.
Yep. So,
and you do have syrup available for diabetics?
Correct, yes. We have sugar-free syrup. And there's plenty of that, too. I mean, we kind of monitor that a little bit. Otherwise, you'll have sugar-free syrup being used all over the place. But it's never a problem.
Right. And, of course, if you're like me and you don't have to have that restriction, you have really delicious maple syrup that's got sugar in it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and we work mostly with local vendors, the local food store, and like I say, Greg's Meats and the Trophy House helps us out.
Sounds good. So where do the proceeds go for this? Does it go to local Lions projects? I know you got. Don't you do some kind of a dictionaries to third graders or something? Program?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we supply dictionaries to the third graders in Cannon Falls School every year, and I think we go to St. Paul's Lutheran Church as well, school. There's a thing called the Quest program. That's life skills, I guess you would say. It's not a just say no program. It's a life skills thing, and that's usually taught, at least in Cannon Falls, in conjunction with some other class. And one of our Lions is the teacher for that at the present time, and the Lions Club buys the material and so forth for that. And if somebody has a house fire, for instance, we'll put up some money, and then the International will match our funds to that. And we've done that a number of times for a disaster such as a house fire.
That's very nice.
We put playground equipment in Goodhue County Park on Lakes Billsby and East Side Park in Cannon Falls. You know, you put a sidewalk in there.
I think John's he's leaning toward that becoming a member. I can see this on his face over here. He's nodding his head like, wow, I didn't realize the Lions did all that good stuff.
Yeah, what else we got? Oh, the food shelf. Obviously, you do that. Or support it. We don't do it, we support it.
Sure.
The Cannon Valley Trail. Eye exams for glasses and needy children. On recommendation of the school nurse, we will pay for glasses and exam with Cannon Eye Clinic.
So a lot of terrific things. Again, it's 7 until noon, the serving on Sunday. Say, John, if you could, Tell us a little bit about the history of the Stanton Airfield. I know that it was started by students at Carleton, right?
Stanton Airport was, you're right, was started by Carleton College right before the war.
We're talking World War II.
Before World War II, yes. The number of students was decreasing because they were going into the armed services, and the president of the college decided that he would petition for an ROTC, which the government gave to him.
He was a smart guy.
Yes, they built this airfield here. It's beautifully flat ground. It didn't take much to build it, and they trained 450 pilots here for World War II, and they had hired a husband and wife team. Manuel's their name were, and they ran the airport, and then after the war they bought the airport, and they ran the airport for many years. And
now, is this museum you have in here open to anybody?
Anybody, just come.
You have some very interesting items in the museum. You want to highlight just a couple for our listeners?
Well, if you don't have to listen to me for one thing, you can go read history for yourself. But kind of interesting item that they have there is in the 20s, and when the U.S. mail service was being flown by airplanes, they went from searchlight to searchlight. That's how they navigated in those days, and we have one of those searchlights. It's been restored, and then before the war, pilots needed to learn how to fly instruments, and they have a thing called a link trainer. The person who designed this thing was named Link, and we have one of those Link trainers, and
it works.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it needs to be restored. We'll
sure.
put it that way, but you fly blind in this thing with the instruments, and then there's the instructor sits at a table, and he sees the same instruments that you see, and then it has a tracer, and you can look and see the mistakes you made.
Oh, okay.
Which
is better to make them on the ground.
Oh, yes.
Than in the air.
Yes, indeed. But the museum is very interesting, and people who have visited it sign in, and it's just amazing to see where these people are all from.
By the way, the Stanton Airfield is on the National Register of Historic Places.
That's correct. Yes, it is.
Which means you can't make any improvements here without their approval, right?
That's right, and then they won't build a box store here either. So.
Well, that's true. Yeah. There's not going to be any box store across the street. How many hangars you have here now?
Well, we have the old original hangar. It's part of the airport, and then we have 4 new hangars.
Okay.
They each hold 6 airplanes.
So it started back in the 40s with the one hangar.
With the one hangar. Yeah.
That's who the 400 and some pilots were trained with, that one hangar.
Yes.
On the field here,
yes.
On the corner of 19 and 56. Stanton Airfield. Has it always had that name?
No, it was Triangle Aviation at one time. It was Carleton ROTC Airport at one time. As things changed. General aviation does change over the years. It's not a real profitable endeavor, and they've fixed TVs here, and they've they had a driving range here, so there's been some
attempts to raise funds that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So the pilots don't get charged to land here?
No.
Obviously, they have to buy fuel, though. It's not free.
Yeah, we have fuel, and we make money on that. We have maintenance. We have a mechanic who we share with the Civil Air Patrol, and then we have the hangars, and we charge rent for the hangars.
When I was in Nebraska, the Civil Air Patrol was huge. They went out on searches all the time. Mm-hmm. Is it as big here in Minnesota?
It is. It's not growing. That's
the sad thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it can get pretty spendy. So again, folks, Stanton Airfield is the site. Father's Day is the day. Bring your father, your grandfather, Or if you're like me, my grandfathers and father are deceased, but I still can come out and think of them during the day. In fact, I think of him quite often when I sit in that hangar and listen to the church service because, he was a church guy.
Okay.
So it was pretty cool the last couple of years. So get on out here, folks. Stanton United Methodist Church is doing the worship service. They do a terrific job. And, the sermon's brief, not a real long sermon. There's a lot of music. If you're not tapping your toe, I don't think you're probably with us, if you know what I'm saying. Because they do a great job, the 2 copper coins. If they need more information, Chuck, should they call you or is one of these numbers the airport? Or you have 2 numbers listed on your flyer here.
Those numbers are the airport.
No, yeah, no, those are airport numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess you could. I'll stick my neck out a little bit. You could call 507-298-0132.
Or are these numbers for the airport?
Or I'm sure the airport. Or you could look on the Cannon Falls Lions website. That would be Cannon Falls Lions.
You just Google it.
Yeah, just Google them.
Just Google it these days, Cannon Falls Lions.
That'd be the thing to do, really the best. It'd be to Google the Cannon Falls Lions.
All right, 507-645-4030, one of the numbers on the flyer. 507-263-2883 is the other number. Yep. And again, serving is from 7 until noon on Sunday. Thanks, guys, for having me out here at the great Stanton Airfield.
Well, thanks for coming out, Gordy, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Oh, you will.
And some other people.
We invite all of our listeners in the KDHL listening area to pop on over to Stanton. Bring your fathers, your grandfathers. You'll enjoy it. They're going to have, if it's a beautiful day, as John said, there are tons of airplanes that'll be out here.
There's one flying in right now.
Well, look at that. Maybe you can take me to St. Paul.
He may or may not be here on Sunday, but there's one coming in now.
Well, there you go. That concludes today's edition of AM Minnesota on KDHL AM in Faribault, Minnesota.